50, who own your masters? Who own your masters? I buy your masters. You better shut up. I will buy your masters.
After accusing Lil Meech of stealing $10 million from the BMF brand and bringing Rick Ross into the fray as a covert accomplice, 50 Cent has formally declared war on him.
Thinking the dude was gonna do right by him and give him a bag and help him out and stuff like that, and he ended up being in the same spot and probably worse right now. Because just say this, man, just say if he would have held his head with 50 now, right? I don't know if 50 would have fucked with him, but 50 would have been like, yo, Tammy, leave that alone, ma. Don't put that on that dude. You know what I'm saying? And 50 wouldn't have been behind it. The only reason this shit grew the way it grew against Meech is because 50 was behind it.
50 didn't hold back when he wrote, "You stole from the empire your father built," in a scathing Instagram post. "You just exposed yourself, Ross." Insiders claim that 50 found financial irregularities connected to production budgets, merchandise sales, and alleged behind-his-back side deals. He alleges that Ross staff, which may have given Meech advice on how to transfer the money covertly, supported the money's flow through shell corporations linked to Lil Meech.
This story right here is complete and utter bullshit. As we know, Meech didn't actually leave for the halfway house. He's on home confinement because of the First Step Act and winning his 821 motion in federal court. After spending nearly 20 years in federal prison, Demetrius Big Meech Flannery left the federal prison in Coleman, Florida, Coleman Low, on October 15th for home confinement. Now, before you say I don't know what I'm talking about, it says right here that he's in the RRM in Miami. He's actually on home confinement. It says RRM because the RRM, or the halfway house, or really the re-entry manager, is administering his home confinement in Miami through the halfway house that's owned by Dismiss Charity.
I put Meech Jr. in a 50s article, which featured screenshots of court documents and mysterious invoices. He's acting like an op now, although Rick Ross has not made any public remarks. Rumors have it that he has been attempting to sign Lil Meech for a future series of his own, which has fueled conjecture that this was all part of a larger scheme to steal BMF talent and take over the legacy. Now that the trust has been destroyed and the money gone, 50 is out for blood. Additionally, this could become one of the most severe and widely publicized fallouts in hip-hop history if the numbers don't mount up quickly. Lil Meech's disagreement with 50 Cent wasn't the only one. According to reports, he teamed up with 50's most infamous adversary to steal $10 million.
I look at the computer say, Floyd said, yeah, Nelly 50. I'm like, what did he say me for? Nelly your first baby mama, Melissa, then took your fiance. Say that nigga.
According to reports, 50 Cent was caught off guard by what appears to be the ultimate betrayal after receiving years of assistance, mentoring, and even paying for his own rehabilitation. Given Rick Ross's involvement and the public exposure of private chats, 50 Cent may now have to deal with this matter the hard way and lose any remaining allegiance. But it all began with opportunity before things took a turn for the worse, and 50 was the direct source of that opportunity. It wasn't only a casting call when 50 Cent chose Demetrius Lil Meech Flannery Jr. to play his father, the notorious Big Meech, in the television series BMF. It was a transformative action that led to all opportunities. Acting was not Lil Meech's forte. His attempt to make a name for himself as a rapper in Hollywood was met with little to no success. However, 50 saw others' talent neglected. He trusted the legacy, the name, and the image.
Dad, one life. Dad, happy birthday. That's one piece. The money team.
So he took action. He made Lil Meech a primetime TV star by paying for everything himself and sending him to acting school for 2 years. His entire future might have been altered by that alone. However, 50 didn't end there. While Big Meech was behind bars, he was keeping things going by providing money to the Flannery family behind the cameras. It was not just business, it was faith in their tale, respect, and commitment. Many people claim that this confidence was immediately betrayed. 50 Cent claims that he assisted the Flannery family in obtaining more than $5 million in legal, clean money, the kind of money that could create stable futures and wealth for future generations. This was no ordinary TV arrangement. 50 had a long-term perspective. He was preparing several seasons, movies, and spin-offs. Over time, the BMF brand was expected to bring in between $30 and $50 million if everything went according to plan.
50 Cent says he gave the BMS family $5 million legal dollars, so he does not understand where the money went, how Lil Meech blew it before Big Meech got out of jail, but he feels extremely betrayed after that picture got taken between Big Meech and Rick Ross after he got out of jail.
But look, 50. Boy, I see you struggling making that G-Unit film studio out there in Louisiana where that cheapest land at. You thought you was gonna be able to do it. You thought you was gonna be able to get them loans, and it ain't. What's wrong? What's taking so long?
This was the ideal opportunity for a family that had once controlled a strong street business to finally legitimize that lineage. Just contracts, scripts, and residuals, no more taking shortcuts. Big Meech watched it all from behind bars. His son was becoming well-known and bringing the Fennery name back into the public eye. It wasn't in the news this time, though. Millions of people watched it on primetime television. And the man behind that isn't a label, a rapper, or even an old acquaintance. Businessman 50 Cent fulfilled his pledge to preserve the BMF moniker. He transformed it into a brand, a sensation in culture, and a means for the following generation to prosper in the legal public eye.
We call it renderings. You had the renderings, then you try to go get them loans, and ain't nobody loan you that money. You ain't even built the G-Unit studio yet. That might be why when I stood next to Meech, your knees buckled. Your knees buckled. Put your back against the wall. You're hustler.
Furthermore, 50 remained silent. He didn't go around begging for compliments. He didn't brag about his investment. He never asked for recognition and remained mute for years. However, he is now speaking up and things have changed. The answer may be more complex than money. Even though some people question why he's so upset about a financial loss, emotionally invested. 50 was the strongest theory. He had a strong belief in the plan, the people, and the project. When Big Meech got freed from prison in October, everything changed, finally. The man behind one of the biggest narcotics operations in America was free. Everyone thought that a reunion with 50 Cent, a picture shoot, a press run, some significant public actions, and perhaps even a joint business venture to demonstrate solidarity and progress would be the next step. A co-produced BMF documentary with the real Big Meech himself was being discussed, a celebration of collaboration, redemption, and legacy. However, what followed, everyone, especially 50 Cent, was taken aback. Big Meech made a splash with Rick Ross rather than getting back together with 50, the man who maintained the BMF brand.
What up, though? Boston, Boston. And today I'm coming to tell all my supporters, you're a business owner, entrepreneur, whatever you got, trying to make it go up, hit me right now.
Yes, the longtime rival of 50 Cent, Rick Ross. This wasn't a chance encounter at an event or a casual photo opportunity. It was a full-fledged promotion, appearances, auto shows, and concerts. Ross and Big Meech stood side by side like brothers from day one. Instagram was filled with images, smiles, hugs, and messages that made it clear to everyone precisely where Meech was. No appreciation, no shout out to 50, not even a simple thank you. Additionally, that didn't feel like treachery. It seemed like deliberate contempt. 50 remained silent at first. However, this is the only thing that is known about him. Silence never means surrender. It indicates that he is reloading and preparing to retaliate. The math isn't adding up. According to 50, which leads us to the money, he claims that he assisted the Fennery family in obtaining more than $5 million in BMF series clean legal funds. And now that there was no money there, 50 wrote in a post. Why isn't Meech being looked for by the old boy? He went to acting school because of me. Nothing was done by Big Screech or any of your people out here. You irritate him by acting like the Black Pablo Escobar when you get home. I helped your family legally make over $5 million, he added. It's not mine, it's all gone, blame. You're out here wearing the baby's jewels because you really want to shine. He returns the baby's chain. 50 even went so far as to say that Lil Meech is now so broke that he is making paid promotional videos online for only $500 per. Something obviously went awry when he went from being the star of a popular series and riding high off the BMF wave to demanding shoutouts, and 50 is ensuring that every inch of it gets seen by the world.
50. Boy, I see you struggling making that G-Unit film studio out there in Louisiana where that cheapest land at. You thought you was gonna be able to do it. You thought you was gonna be able to get them loans, and it ain't. What's wrong? What's taking so long? I know you wanna make your mama one of them walking stars thing. Put down there. Your mama live. Her own walking star.
Sen quickly turned the heat up. He jumped on Instagram and clowned Big Meech, posting Big Screech got Meech doing promos. $500 each. Before it's gone, get yours. Although it wasn't a subtle jab, 50 dropped even further right when folks believed he was finished. He posted on a GoFundMe page, you read correctly, a GoFundMe. Big Meech was the one for whom it was intended. Let's face it, there's a 90% possibility that 50 made that campaign himself for amusement. It's precisely the type of planned mayhem for which he is renowned. He posted it regardless of how petty it was, and the internet went crazy as soon as it appeared on the timeline. People were incredulous. According to the GoFundMe, Big Meech specifically requested financial assistance to pay for an urban apartment that cost $30,000 per month. In his trademark trolling caption, 50 wrote, "Help Big Screech pay his $30,000 a month urban. One of P's cribs is at 1. Special thanks to quality control." However, 50 wasn't done. He came full circle again, adding another name to the confusion, Doug, a 42-year-old rapper. 50 said that Doug paid Big Meech $100,000 in a now viral post, and 50 made it known. That struck him as a grave error. He spoke harshly, "My ninja, your dad. Giving Screech $100,000 was a mistake. You could have provided your ninjas with that. You've always been stubborn." 40 to Doug was not going to tolerate it, of course. He jumped on Instagram and punched back hard, defending both Meech and his city. "No ninja can persuade me to oppose Detroit. Show me a rat, big bra, or stop talking so much to me." The real question, though, is now, how does a former drug lord who is now the subject of a television show come to have trouble paying his rent? Tony Yao says the response may be more embarrassing than anticipated. Yao stated in an interview that he was genuinely requesting financial assistance from Lil Baby. Following Big Meech's release, that's right, rappers were purportedly being approached by the man behind BMF for a handout. If accurate, that would account for 50's intense criticism of him, because he believes that everything he created was discarded after being taken for granted. According to reports, Big Meech even grumbled about his own son's lack of financial support, and to be honest, that just makes the situation worse, because when you look at how Lil Meech has been moving, it's not exactly helping the problem. Lil Meech has been squandering money like it's nothing, according to Tony Yao. He reportedly spent more than $500,000 on a personalized BMF chain and $100,000 on Chrome Hearts pants. And Lil Meech is out here flaunting fancy jeans and Richard Mille watches as if it were no problem, even though his dad is supposedly having trouble paying the rent. Then, when 50 Cent unfollowed him on social media, he had the audacity to become irate. Nothing was sugar-coated by Tony Yao. He referred to it as what it is. According to the rumors, 50% weren't upset about the expenditure. He was upset that it was a waste, no planning, no investments, and no future stacking. Simply careless expenditure with no results. That kind of action is not only stupid, but it is also insulting to everything he assisted, according to 50 Construct. And he hit what many refer to as a final boss level of petty just when it appeared that 50 had finally finished venting. Rumor has it that 50 Cent purchased the halfway house where Big Meech must reside by law. That's right, Big Meech, who once controlled entire cities and operated a billion-dollar narcotics business, is accused of paying rent to 50 Cent, the man he denigrated. Naturally, 50 couldn't help but tell the world business is business. He added with a smile during an interview, "Cleaning up filthy stuff all day is what I'm doing with that ninja on toilet duty." Fans are enjoying the irony that, despite Meech's official release from prison, he is not truly free as most people would think. 50 is a real savage, one commenter stated. He constantly maintains a professional demeanor. Respect only. I've never seen a burn this bad. Although 50 Cent has a following every week, not everyone believes this most recent move is genuine. The halfway house story is being capped by some, who claim it's just 50 being 50. This story is full and complete rubbish, according to one critic. It may not even be a halfway house Big Meech is staying in, he said. However, we're talking about 50 Cent here, the same man who once purchased seats at a Ja Rule concert so that the front rows would remain empty. He is the only person who could successfully purchase a government property out of retaliation in order to make a statement. Additionally, given his wealth and trolling past, many trust almost everything he posts. Lil Meech, meanwhile, made it quite apparent where he stands. I made sure to ask God to bring my father home to my family. Before I asked him for anything, he wrote on Instagram, "My prayers were heard. Dad, you have my undying affection. Death prior to disgrace." That final line was a declaration as well as an emotional statement. Neutral is no longer Lil Meech's game. He will always be on Big Meech's side. No inquiries were made. However, it appears that the Fennery family is now becoming close to someone who did not contribute to the establishment or maintenance of the BMF legacy. Rick Ross. As soon as Big Meech returned home, Ross swooped in fast. No hesitancy, no delay. He got Big Meech to co-sign him, began planning a welcome home show, and launched a promotion as if it were the start of something big. Insiders, however, say that this was not about paying tribute to Meech. It was about seizing the moment. Rick Ross employed Meech to build his brand after spotting a window and dropping a check. The objective was business, not family. In 50, he saw the play at once. This was leverage, not affection. And that was the ultimate betrayal in the perspective of the 1950s. Another name is then caught in the midst of this tumult. 50 Cent doesn't get along with anyone else. Floyd Mayweather. There was history there, as you are probably aware. Every week, 50 Cent entertains his fans, but not everyone accepts this most recent rumor. Some contend that the entire halfway house story is a fabrication, labeling it outright trolling. As one reviewer put it, this story is complete and utter nonsense. It may not even be a halfway house Big Meech is staying in, he said. However, this is 50 Cent, a person who is renowned for his daring theatrical gestures and for having the resources and motivation to perform crazy exploits. He is the only one who could truly purchase a residence that is legally needed by someone in order to convey a message. Because of his track record of strategic trolling, almost anything he says seems plausible. Lil Meech, meanwhile, stated his stance unequivocally. I made sure to ask God to bring my father home to my family before I asked him for anything. He wrote in an emotional Instagram post, "My prayers were heard, Dad. You have my undying affection. Death prior to disgrace." It wasn't just sentiment. In that last sentence, it was a declaration. He's out of the middle now. He is fully committed to riding for Big Meech. Once Rick Ross was involved, that change in loyalty took on even greater significance. Ross didn't take long to make his move. After Big Meech was freed, with the public's backing, he started planning a welcome home concert and began publishing advertising material. On the surface, it appeared to be a celebration, but many onlookers saw something very different. This seems to have little to do with paying respect to Meech. It appeared to be a calculated commercial decision Ross had never been involved in, creating the legacy of BMF. Abruptly, however, he was placed next to its founder with a simple handshake and check. Loyalty wasn't that. It had to do with branding, and 50 immediately noticed the optics. This wasn't just a lousy taste, he thought. It was an intentional treachery. Another well-known name appeared right when the stress reached its limit, Floyd Mayweather. Due to the fact that in regard to long-standing conflicts, and this rivalry is still going strong because of unsolved business, and you'll know exactly what's going to happen next if you recall that video. There was more to that video than just amusement. When 50 Cent challenged Floyd Mayweather to read a single page from a book, it was a shot. It was a well-timed, humorous jab meant to reveal tension that had been building for years behind the scenes. And the fire is rekindling now that Rick Ross and Big Meech are involved. Known for associating with influential figures, Floyd Mayweather has now begun to show up more frequently with Meech's group. One thing has become evident via public exchanges, images, and subliminal messages. It's possible that the former boxing champion is supporting Ross and Meech out of strategy, opportunity, or loyalty. 50 Cent doesn't like this change. He sees it as just one more piece of evidence in an expanding pattern. His former supporters are now siding with his detractors, and he doesn't take it lightly when those connections jeopardize his legacy, particularly one connected to the BMF brand he helped revive, according to insiders. There is financial anxiety in addition to personal tension, according to rumors. Ross and Floyd are working on a documentary series about Big Meech's life that will be distinct from 50 Cent's already established BMF program. If this is accurate, it would lead to direct competition, undermining the very empire that 50 strove to finance and establish. Every move is deliberate in this high-stakes game of brand ownership, loyalty, and reputation. With several documentaries, competing initiatives, The question now is who will provide the final BMF story. With social media criticism coming from all sides, BMF was over. And maybe Lil Meech's career was too. In the entertainment industry, trust is essential for business. Success, 50 Cent was upfront about it. He has lost faith in this camp. Big Meech, on the other hand, shocked the industry and beyond by publicly demonstrating his commitment by siding with Rick Ross. What if, however, this was more than just betrayal? Could it be that Big Meech was subtly ruining his son's future? It's not as crazy as it may appear, and the hypothesis is gaining traction on the surface. It seemed to be just another industry feud. Rick and 50 Cent's hardlines, conflicting business ethics, Ross's scheming, and Big Meech's desire for a financial fresh start following years in prison. From a broader perspective, however, this is more than just the BMF series or the narratives. Control, according to some. It's about a father subtly competing with his kid while grappling with the fact that his legacy was constructed without him while he was behind bars. Making decisions based on pride rather than vision can result from a dynamic where success feels menacing rather than motivating. It appears that Big Meech may have attempted to regain the limelight, risking everything in the process rather than applauding Lil Meech's ascent, if accurate. This fractures what could have been a strong generational empire. The stars have not announced a new season since 50 Cent stepped down. Furthermore, Ross is unable to lawfully produce a BMF movie, even though he is involved. The project that took 50 years to construct is on the verge of collapse. The last issue is still, was this a long-term plan planned from behind the gates? Or did Lil Meech betray 50 Cent for a $10 million opportunity? Was 50 just one more victim in a bigger struggle for identity and power? Leave a comment below with your opinions. Is this a tale of manipulation, treachery, or both? Before you leave, remember to hit the subscribe button, like this video, and enable notifications so you don't miss any updates. Because the upcoming chapter of this drama may be the most explosive one yet.